If the government gets its way, people arriving like this will not be allowed to claim asylum in future. They'll be sent to a safe country like Rwanda, where the government's done a deal, and they would be banned from coming here for life. The principle is those seeking asylum should only come through government-sponsored schemes.
Because let's not forget that many people that are on these boats have travelled through a variety of safe countries to get here. And we've got to ensure that we've got enough support for our people that are here in the UK. We've taken 450,000 plus people via those safe routes since 2015. But I don't think that we should be allowing the illegal routes to continue.
The current system is clearly struggling. Last year, more than 45,000 people crossed the channel in small boats. This year, nearly 3,000 have already done so. But there is a backlog of 160,000 waiting for their asylum requests here to be processed. Rafi Hotak came here after working with the British military in Afghanistan. He says he couldn't wait for a government-sponsored scheme, and neither can Afghans now.
People who are fleeing their country is because their life is at risk. Now, waiting till you provide them a scheme, and will that scheme include them or not, that's something that they cannot bet on. They need to get out right now.
Others say people will still cross the channel, but if they have no hope of asylum, they'll just disappear.
Where will the tens of thousands of people that arrive here seeking our protection go? Our fear is that they will go into destitution, homelessness, and be lost into our streets. That will cause absolute chaos, but most importantly, it will cause untold human misery.
At the end of the week, the Prime Minister will meet the French President. Good cooperation with France is vital to control the Channel crossings, but Rishi Sunak wants his new law as well.
Well, let's speak to Andy live at Westminster for us now. Andy, we've talked a little bit there about the detail. We know how it will work in principle, but take us through exactly how it will work.
Yes, and while lots of people have moral questions about this policy, a lot of people have very practical questions as well. For a start, you're talking about detaining several thousand people while you try and go through the process of deporting them again. Where are those people going to be detained? And also maybe the bigger question, where are people going to be sent back to? There doesn't seem to be any question of sending them back to France, for instance, where most people have come from on those small boats. The government talks about sending them to a safe third country, or Rwanda. Rwanda, there is a government deal to send people to Rwanda, but so far no one has actually been sent to Rwanda because that has been stopped in the courts. There are estimates that it won't, the first flight to Rwanda won't happen before next year. So there are enormous practical difficulties about enforcing this, but Rishi Sunak is determined to press ahead. We'll get the details tomorrow. And in answer to his critics, a lot of people will be saying, well, at least Rishi Sunak is trying to do something, where others are simply saying, objecting to the policy, but have no practical answer themselves.
OK, Andy, so a different story now. The Johnson family, they're back in the headlines.
Yes, Boris Johnson trying to put his father, or rather to make his father, Stanley Johnson, a knight, to give him a knighthood. Now, it's not been confirmed, but it's also not been denied by Boris Johnson. That also goes along with the fact that Boris Johnson is trying to put something like 100 people into the House of Lords, or to give them honours, potentially. That is allowed under the basis of a Prime Minister who's leaving office. He gets a resignation honours list. That's already causing quite a lot of difficulty. A lot of people objecting to this. Actually, the only person who can block this sort of honour, and someone going into the House of Lords as well, is the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. And the question is that a fight that Rishi Sunak at this point really wants to have?